I know you. I recognize that name. Fun stuff. I recognize that name as well. Hey, Jason, thanks for joining. We will go live very, very shortly with the stream. Making sure I have everything up and running, including my PowerPoint. That would be shiny. Da, da, da. That one. Here we go. That looks nice. Go ahead and share my screen. When I find the Zoom meeting, I'll go ahead and share my screen. All right. Can you guys see the screen okay? Feel free to put a note in the chat there real quick and I'll be happy to answer. Excellent, thank you, appreciate that. So we only have a few people join already, so we're gonna give them some time to join in. And yep, log4j for Christmas indeed. That is so much fun. I have a feeling that will be a smidge of overtime in the next few weeks for a lot of folks, unfortunately. Timing is pretty bad as well over the holidays and whatnot. Guess the only benefit I can think of is that it's easy to do changes around the holidays because there are usually not too many people working with stuff. Guess that's the only benefit. Fun things. Oh, I just saw that post about the DOS attacks. Yeah, that was, wow. One thing leads to another. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start the recording. I'm going to go ahead and start the stream as soon as I get up my phone and have a chance to see it also. Let's see here. All right, start the stream. It is going. I see we are live. Perfect. I'm going to turn down that phone or turn off that phone. Welcome everyone to today's office hours. My name is Johan Abritmark and I'll be your host for the next hour. This is where you have the chance to ask any and all questions about Microsoft Deployment Toolkit, Configuration Manager, Intune, Windows 10, Windows 11, imaging in general. I hope you have some good questions. So with that being in mind, I realize that a lot of you folks are probably busy trying to figure out what to do with the latest log4j Java issue. There's been a lot of debate, a lot of tweets going on in that area, fixes leading to even worse stuff and whatnot. So kind of feel bad for a lot of security folks having to work through the holidays, getting rid of all this. But this is a bad one, it seems. So hang in there, and hopefully that there will be an end to that as well over time. At least these days we have the awareness. I remember back when Lambda and Blaster and those hit the world, the awareness and tools were simply not there at the moment. It took the IT industry quite some time to catch up on it. So these days, I believe we're at least more ready than before for this type of issues. But that being said, this is our systems management focus. If you have any questions, by all means, feel free to post them here in the Zoom meeting. For those of you that have joined the Academy program and have joined the Zoom meeting there. But I'm also trying to keep an eye on the stream. We are streaming to Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube at the moment. So I have a little app where I can see messages coming in from those platforms as well. Before that little app, I had to basically maintain 4 different windows, and that was a bit interesting as well, for sure. All right. So let's see what we have. Nothing so far. Oh, there is a question. All right, let's see. Oh, Jason wants to add additional language packs in a 20 on a 20H2 in a sequence. Lots of people saying the cab file way is not good anymore. So basically, back in 1809, Microsoft changed a little bit how language paths are dealt with. And you can still add them to your offline image. And one really good way to do that is by using the OST Builder tool that David Segura put together. It's a few different PowerShell modules working together. And this one supports a ton of stuff that can be added to the boot image, to the OS image. And multi-language is one of those. So quite elegant solutions on making sure that your image contains the language pack it should have. Because then at deployment time, you can simply ask either the sequence, because these days we, as you probably have seen, even the native ConfigMgr sequence will now have the option and where you can select a UI language directly in the sequence. For those of you using the MDT integration, those variables still works as well. Or if you want to have a script that assign the same type of setting, you can certainly do that too. But if the apps or language packs are in the image, they are quite easy to assign. So I will add this link here in the chat for you guys. And this is what I would start. I remember seeing also from Don Wirtz, configmgr.com, I believe, still the blog. She has written a few posts on their journey for language packs as well. I'm trying to find a search. Probably hidden here somewhere. And I'm probably blind also. Well, I can play this game. Here we go. I don't mean to scream, but I'm too lazy to not copy and paste that uppercase text. So I'm putting that in the chat as it is. You can yell at me later for it. I think I'm going to open up in a little bit better demo mode as well. Let's see here. How about this one? Allows you to see a little bit better what I'm doing here. Full screen is good. That one is in the chat as well. In addition to this, our good friends at MS Endpoint Manager, they have some related stuff. Where Nikolai put together a script here, which is, no, that's an older one, forget one. This one. This is a PowerShell script that figures out what language pack you had on the machine and make sure it can install the same one. But this is one for servicing, not so much for the reference image, but a cool little solution that was developed there. All right. Any other questions that you guys might have? All right, while we're waiting for more questions to come in, I would like to highlight once again that on next week, on the 21st, we are doing our free mini course related to maximizing network performance for Intune and Configment environments. So it's an entire session dedicated to basically peer-to-peer optimizations, what you can do on these platforms to speed up deployment, to making sure that they reduce the traffic over your WAN links. Because if you guys do this right, you can typically reduce Configment traffic with up to 90%, and Intune and internet traffic somewhere in between 60 to 80%. Currently, it's not possible to be as efficient on an Intune platform as a Configment platform in terms of network reduction, simply because the level of organization is working a little bit differently. But still, if you can achieve somewhere in between 60 to 80% reduction of traffic, that is still pretty good. I mean, if you would go into your network folks and say, hey guys, by a few clicks of a button here, I can actually reduce up to 80% of the traffic on the firewall here or on the WAN links. Is it okay to do that? They will probably go for a yes there. So highly recommend. If you haven't seen this announcement, by all means, I will hope that you will join us on the 21st. And this one is somewhat early in the morning, at least for the people in the United States. But we put that on that time frame or time slot so that people in Europe would have a chance to attend without having to stay up the entire night to view it. But as you can see, it does cover all the fun stuff that are related to peer-to-peer and network optimization. And the price for this course is particularly okay as well. Our mini courses are free, so that's nice. Let's see, there was a question coming in on the YouTube channel. Do you push out patches for Microsoft product as soon as they're available with ConfigMgr, or do you wait, or do you maybe wait like 30 days? I certainly do wait, but not that much. Even my pilot deployments. So when I set up my ADRs in ConfigMgr, even for pilot stuff, those deployment rules I configured on opposite for 4 days. So I don't even start to test my test machines until a few days after the patch has been released. And I simply base that on the fact that there has been quite a few times now when the first patch of updates or first batch of updates coming out has not been okay. We've had synchronization issues with the catalog. There have been patches that has been not optimal. And what happens in the background is that Microsoft usually get that feedback quite quickly. And they will, if there's a bad patch, it will be republished. If it's something bad in the catalog, it will be updated. And it simply takes a few days for that process to kick in. So my absolute favorite thing to do, I wouldn't say favorite, but it's very, very useful, is I will go online around Patch Tuesday. I will check the Twitter feed and just listen around and see what people are having troubles with. And if there is a major problem detected, I won't mention anything about printers this summer, I'll wait. I go ahead and delete my deployment or disable my deployment, even for pilot testing. So I do wait, but not so much as 30 days. These days, a lot of organizations actually have, like an SLA from management, that updates have to be deployed within the month. And if I'm about to actually finish both my testing, my pilot rings, my production rings, I have to be pretty aggressive once I start. I cannot wait several weeks for the next round. And unfortunately, we are in a time where patching is extremely critical, and to get them out in a timely fashion, that's only half of the problem. The second problem is to force users to actually reboot their computers. I have one customer we worked with that are based out in Europe. They actually went so far, so they have now issued mandatory reboots weekly on computers. Not just to get stability, because it actually does bring some stability to it, but also to make sure that they are always patched. So fun stuff there. I hope I answered that question. All right. Any other good questions? Great questions, by the way. Let's see. Oh, that one was earlier. All right, just a follow-up comment there on YouTube. Thanks for the reply. All right, you're welcome. That's why we're here. Anything else? A whopping 44 minutes available. Okay, 43. Anyhow. It doesn't look like there are any more questions at the moment. We'll certainly stick around a few minutes in case they show up. All right. Here's a question from Jason. Okay, about the new remote help that was announced. Yes, indeed. The new help, remote help capability for Intune was announced at Ignite. Might be this one here. Let's see. Oh, that's the TeamViewer integration. I'll put them in one word here. It's available in preview now in Intune if you want to play around with it. Here we go. So this will be the link that was announced at Ignite. And you can see the time there, November 2nd. That was the first day of Ignite this year. And as a follow-up comment, they also, I think it was Panu that tweeted about it. I saw that flashing by the other day. Let's see if I can find that tweet real quick. Panu is one of the ConfigMgr MVPs. And he blogs, tweeted something about it. If I can find that one. Yes, I believe this was it. So let me bring up that one on the screen. Boom. Not now, thank you. So in addition, of course, that this one was already known that we need an additional license, but they also said that, see what the CMG info was here. On you. How hard can it be? I just wanted that one. All right, I'll do this instead. This was a bummer. So they are already removing the remote control from the technical preview of ConfigMgr. And that doesn't sound too good to me. I was hoping that would be something in that product that we can use as well, that will be included in ConfigMgr. But it seems like the remote help is going to be a paid-only extra solution. We'll see what happens in the year. I mean, it's still in preview. Things can still change, but I have to say I was a little bit sad when I read that they are removing out the remote control for CMG out of ConfigMgr. So, all right. Yep. Any other questions? Good ones. All right. There's a question regarding script to create Win32 apps in Intune through PowerShell. And okay, excellent question. There is, not are, he's certainly alive and kicking. Mr. Nikolai with the Endpoint Manager folks, he has a Win32 app Intune module, PowerShell module, that helps you create apps in Intune programmatically. And this little module has started to become sort of a standard tool or standard module if you want to do automation with Intune. So when I was preparing for our session next week, the peer-to-peer session, I have spending some significant time uploading lots and lots of apps to Intune, just so I can get some real data when pushing out lots of information. So in my Intune tenant, I have a good chunk of applications of different sizes that I'm using for benchmarking, just to see what different type of settings, how they result in different types of download speeds and whatnot on especially larger environments. So I have, as you can see here, several test applications, different sizes, different number of files, and all that stuff. And those are simply created out of PowerShell scripts. So I've been using, not that one here, but this one here. It's a simple, short PowerShell script that indeed connects to Microsoft Graph using Nikolai's module. And this module is the one here. So if I do a new window here, get command, and specify that module, you can see that that module contains a bunch of useful commandlets or functions that allow you to add apps, get applications, and even update some of the application info in them. So I also saw a tweet from, I believe it was Trond early this morning. They have been using this module for migrate some 1,250 apps from a customer from ConfigMgr over to Intune. I saw a note from Phil Schwan. They had done some 350 applications. And I think it's worth mentioning also that here, Ben Whitmore has written a migration tool. that will take Configment apps and convert them to Win32 apps. So all very, very shiny stuff to automation. What I spent my morning with was trying to figure out how to force the deliver optimization settings to go in foreground rather than the default background for all my various assignments. So this is still work in progress, but this was what I was playing around with, trying to get them to go a little bit faster, because obviously this does speed up deliver optimization quite a bit. And I did not want to have to go through every single app and configure that manually, because clicking at console is okay if you do like one application. But when I was playing around here, I had a specific app that I was testing and applying these settings to. And this is a native commandlet in the graph module. But if you think there is a lot of documentation around this one, the answer is no. To basically get a Google search and to do like, you get like 4 hits. So that one required a little bit of creativity before I figured out the right way of assigning settings to it. But that was fun. Hopefully I can share a bit more about this next week when we do our session there. Great question. Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions? We still have half an hour available. It's yours if you want it. All right. I don't think I see any more questions. Gonna give it a minute or two, otherwise we will simply call it a day. I mean, I can talk about Intune for weeks, but that's not exactly the purpose of these sessions. Right then, I don't see any other questions. If I accidentally missed one, it was not on purpose. Right then, I think we'll call that a wrap. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And there was a question. Good Lord. Do you have any ideas on how to troubleshoot conflict in profiles? There is a guide out there. Trying to remember who wrote it. That deals with that specifically. I was reading that like 2 years ago. Ooh. And name sometimes. My searching skills does not play well with me at the moment. It's funny, we even had that in one of the modules. I skip Bing and go Google instead. Add this one. Let's see. Get it over to the other screen here. It's still not the one I was hoping for. I mean, there are some basic stuff in this one here. Deals with conflicts. But there was an article that explained it so elegantly. I was trying to find that one because this one is more profiles in general. I was trying to find that one that was exclusively for Windows 10 PCs. That it was not a Microsoft post, it was somebody else who did it. I love good questions. I mean, you still use this option here to see some of the settings that can help you figure out what's going on the machines. Basically, it will look like this. Go back to my portal. One of my devices. This one here. I think the monitor node is directly here. Yeah, so this one will show you any conflict as well. That's from my old notes. Sometimes you just stumble across these amazingly good articles. And this one was good. I do not find that at the moment, but these resources are a good start that I showed you earlier here. This was for VDI machine specifically. All right. Please drop me an email. I'll be happy to see if I can follow up with that article that I found. It wasn't for VDI specifically, but I'm assuming you can use the same methods for that kind of troubleshooting. All right, thank you, sir. Any other questions? All right. Give it a minute or two. All right, I don't see any more questions. Once again, thank you so much for joining, and I hope to see you again next Wednesday when we will start a little bit earlier. So we will start at 9, I believe it was. Really bring up the office hours thing. Yes, indeed. September 22nd, 9 a.m. Central Time. So hope to see you guys there. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the week. Bye for now.